Hi everyone, it's the Lux Oracle once again, and I wanted to talk to you today about another asteroid. And for those of you who do not know, I am an astrologer and spiritual strategist, and I love asteroids. Asteroids are very important to me in astrology. They help me to really pinpoint and zero in on energy, particularly if you have a asteroid that is conjunct, meaning that it is within 3 to 5 degrees of a particular planet that you have. It tells a story. And there's hundreds of asteroids, right? There are only certain ones that I really closely work with. But I also, sometimes I pull some things out of my hat depending on what spirit gives me. So today we're going to talk about the asteroid Juno. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but I know it would open up a can of worms. And it has. So we're just going to talk about it. So Juno is the asteroid of commitment and marriage. And if you know the story of Juno in the Greek mythology, it isn't really a happy story. But in astrology, Juno rules sacred commitment. And so this is your marriage, your hand fasting, your, life partner energy. That's what Juno is. And so in a woman's chart, now this does vary depending on if you have varying sexual preferences. So I'm going to talk from a heteronormative perspective because that is what I know. There are certain asteroids and different things that can be assessed in other forms of sexuality, but we're going to talk heteronormative at this moment. So Juno is the asteroid of marriage. Now, in a woman's chart, Juno is really, when you look at the chart, it's the type of man that is going to really make you want to commit to him and also fulfill, give you what you personally need. Now, I'm going to talk about this more in another video, in a live. So make sure you're subscribed. So Juno in a man's chart is the type of woman that he wants to marry, that he wants to that triggers the I want to commit to her type response, that really gets him thinking about divine partnership, marriage, and things of that nature. Now, again, we've been talking about Lilith, and we'll talk about that more in the live, how Lilith affects a man, because it's a lot more seductive, dare I say. And when you're able to merge together, I don't want to say marry because I'm using that word a lot. When you are able to merge together the Lilith and the Juno, you can really psychologically tap into what a man is, what are his triggers for commitment and his triggers for desire. And you can kind of massage those and work those how you want to work those. And so that's what I'll be talking about in my other video. But when it comes down to you in a relationship, if your Juno is like in Pisces, if you're dating somebody that's emotionally unavailable, or like they're very stoic and they don't really show a lot of emotion, like y'all can date, but like you're never, even if you marry this person, you'll never feel fulfilled. You'll never really feel true like fulfillment with that person, and vice versa for a male also. Y'all Liliths could be merging and y'all both, y'all having a good time sexually, but that Juno, there will be issues if that Juno isn't well placed. So I wanted to talk about that. If you are interested, though, in a Juno reading just specifically about you, the type of male that is best for you. Now, Jupiter does represent the husband in the natal chart. You'll see that in a lot of videos. Jupiter does represent the husband in the natal chart, as Juno represents the wife. So in a woman's chart, Jupiter is like how you met your husband, right? So say you had Jupiter in Gemini and he was your taxi driver. That makes sense. Gemini rules transportation, cars, right? And so that would make sense if you had that type of thing. So it usually tells more so the story of how you met them. And that's the same thing for Juno in a man's chart who is seeking a wife, right? So it's the same thing for them. Juno is to woman as Juno is to heterosexual male. Like those go together. And then but the woman, Juno is what's really going to fulfill her. It's what's really going to make her, you know, just happy. Now your Venus is what you're attracted to and how you attract other people. But again, this Juno is specifically about commitment and loyalty and long-term partnership. And then with Jupiter, again, it's more so like how you met them, the circumstances you met them, as well as the timing when you have transits that hit your Jupiter or your 10th house. But again, I don't want to get too like wordy about all of this stuff. So I'm going to do this live, and I hope to that you guys will check this out if you didn't already check it out, because I'm actually going to post this after. But I'm going to put my links below if you're interested in any of my Juno or love astrology, which has a lot to do with your prosperity and your wealth too. Because if you're not happy, if you're not getting the fulfillment that you want, you'll see how that will affect your wealth. Women are supposed to receive pleasure and have lovers and devotion to them. So it can always skyrocket you if you are feeling emotionally fulfilled in other ways outside of yourself. There's nothing wrong with being, because I totally want you to be, if you've seen my content, I want you to be completely and totally sovereign and feel fulfilled yourself. But I do believe that we're here to experience pleasure and to experience relationships. They are one of the greatest lesson teachers that we have. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up below. I will have all that information. And also, if you are tired of being the goddamn doormat, you tired of being played, you're tired of the lack of commitment that you are seeing in your relationship patterns, please check out my Flip the Script waiting list, because there I'm actually going to be teaching a class. It's the wait list for the class. I'm going to be teaching a course specifically about psychologically and biohacking the male brain so that you can no longer experience being played, not getting the commitment that you want, the game playing that goes on in male-female relationships. When you understand how the male brain works and you put them through the rigor that they're supposed to be put through, for them to actually value and desire commitment, you won't have those type of problems. I talked about that a little bit in my last video. Go check that one out. But anyways, like I was saying, if you're interested, check out my Flip the Script. This is like we're getting rid of the good girl diagram. What is the word I'm trying to say? The whole good girl dichotomy. We're getting rid of that whole paradigm. Like, that has to go. And that's what we're going to be working on in the class, because there is a book and it's very real. I've read it multiple times. I actually own it somewhere. Why Men Marry Bitches. And so we're going to talk about that. And so the Juno Lilith video that I'm going to be doing next is going to really be deep diving into that. And so check my links, subscribe, and check out my next video. All right. Peace, y'all.